Alright, listen up, we've got some exciting news coming your way about our beloved Rangers FC. Let's dive into this transfer gossip. Today we have 5 bombshell news updates. Rangers reignite transfer interest in Birmingham City star as a social media post offers a hidden future clue. Philippe Clement could find himself in trouble at Rangers amid an Ibrox transfer update. Rangers-linked Adama Traore launches a boycott in defiant response to a teammate's ban. Rangers have been handed a Theo Bair transfer warning as the stubborn Motherwell boss stands firm. Nils Koppen has the perfect chance for Rangers to sign Shankland. Let's get started. Our Rangers are reigniting their interest in Birmingham City's centre-back Dion Sanderson. You might remember him from his stints with Sunderland, Cardiff City and Wolves. Well, after Birmingham got relegated to League One, the rumour mill is buzzing again about him possibly heading our way. Now Dion had a bit of a rough season over at St Andrews. He got stripped of the captaincy for a bit due to some off-field shenanigans. Despite all that, he still managed to clock 37 appearances in the championship. But unfortunately, his efforts weren't enough to keep Birmingham from the drop. Word from the Sunderland Echo is that the Black Cats wanted him back at the Stadium of Light, but their offers got turned down. Now, talks are back on about what's next for Sanderson. Rangers were eyeing him up last January, and his name keeps popping up in our transfer news. If we decide to go for him permanently, there's talk that Birmingham might want Connor Goldson to head their way in a swap deal. Now Connor, as you know, has been a rock for us. Over 6 years, he's made more than 300 appearances and scored 23 goals from the back. Not too shabby, eh? Transfermarkt values him at £4.2 million, which shows just how important he's been. Sanderson recently addressed his future at Birmingham on social media. He's had a tough time and apologized for his mistakes. He called Birmingham his home and thanked the fans for their support. But with all this chatter about a move to Ibrox, who knows what'll happen next? We've got some intriguing news about our gaffer, Philippe Clement, and his position at Rangers. So, pour yourself a wee dram and let's break it down. Philippe Clement might be in a bit of hot water at Ibrox. According to Dan Bardell, our club could be holding off on new signings because Clement's future isn't as secure as we'd hope. It's all a bit of a mixed bag right now. Stevie Clifford, writing for Rangers Review, mentioned on the 13th of July that we're expected to make a lot more moves before the transfer window shuts. Sources close to the club have reassured us that new signings are indeed coming. And honestly, it can't come soon enough, can it? Now, Bardell had a chat with Ibrox News and shared some thoughts. He reckons that for Rangers to move forward, we need a bit of a rebuild. But it all hinges on how much control Clement has over the transfers. If we start the next season poorly, Clement could be in a spot of bother, especially after last season's performance. We were second best again last season, and it's clear we need some changes and improvements. Clement will want to put his own stamp on the team, but it's up to the hierarchy to decide how far they'll back him and how confident they are in his long-term future with us. Rangers have already brought in some new faces like Connor Barron and Hamza Igameni early in the transfer window. But Clement hasn't had a huge budget to play with. The biggest spend so far has been on Igameni. There's been talk about bringing in Joan Jordan from Sevilla, but that looks like it would be a loan deal rather than a permanent move. It seems like the Rangers hierarchy might not be fully backing Clement financially, which raises questions about his future at Ibrox. It's a bit of a waiting game to see how this all pans out. Adama Traore, a name we've been keeping an eye on this summer. So, here's the lowdown. Our Rangers were heavily linked to a £3.5 million move for Ferencváros's Malian international winger Adama Traore. But as things stand, it looks like we need to offload some players before we can bring anyone new in. For now, Traore is sticking with Ferencváros, even though there were some whispers about him possibly heading to Fenerbahce. While Traore's club future is a bit up in the air, he's found himself in the thick of a pretty intense situation with the Mali national team. Here's the scoop. Mali's captain, Adama Traore, got suspended a few weeks ago for what's being called inciting a rebellion among the players. He was pushing for better conditions, management, and professionalism in the team. In response, the Malian FA hit back hard, suspending him for lacking honor and dignity, and for incitement against the national setup. This has sparked a massive reaction. Adama Traore, alongside several teammates, decided to boycott the national team until Adama's suspension is lifted. Adama even took to Instagram to support his captain, making it clear that all the players' previous decisions were made collectively. Now you've got to admire Adama's fighting spirit. That's exactly the kind of grit and determination we could use at Ibrox, right? He's played 56 times for Mali and scored 9 goals, showing he's a significant figure in their setup. Despite some injuries last season, he still managed to score 14 goals in 25 games in Hungary. Not too shabby. However, nothing is likely to happen on the transfer front until we clear some space in our squad, with players like Sam Lammers needing to move on first. Our forward line is under the microscope this summer after a less than stellar season. Cyril Desires had to carry the goal-scoring burden in his debut season. But things are looking up with Brazilian striker Danilo returning from injury, and Moroccan hitman Hamza Igamane stepping in for the often injured Kemar Roof. We've got some fresh blood and more options up front. Now here's where it gets interesting. We've been keeping an eye on Canadian striker Theo Bair, who's been a standout at Motherwell after a rough start at St. Johnstone. Last season, he scored 15 goals in the Premiership, including one against us at Ibrox. There were rumors we might swoop in for him this summer. However, it turns out Theo Bair is off the market. He's just completed a move to Auxerre after impressing at the Copa America with Canada, helping them reach the semi-finals. So scratch him off our wish list. Motherwell's manager, Stuart Kettlewell, wasn't shy about valuing Bair highly. Initial reports suggested a £1.3 million fee, but it's actually worth £1.6 million with potential add-ons. This shows Motherwell's knack for getting a good deal and sends a clear message to us. Their players won't come cheap. This is particularly relevant as we've also been eyeing Motherwell's teenage midfielder, Lennon Miller. If Kettlewell's stance on Bair is anything to go by, we'll need to be prepared to dig deep if we want to bring Miller to Ibrox. Our director of football recruitment, Nils Koppen, has a golden opportunity to bring Lawrence Shankland to Ibrox. This comes right after his standout performance in a pre-season friendly against Tottenham on July 17th, where he showcased his skills by scoring for Hearts, despite them losing 5-1 at Tynecastle. Shankland pounced on a defensive error from Spurs, quickly turned, and slotted the ball into the bottom corner with the kind of composure we desperately need. We've been linked with Shankland before, and after a season where he netted 30 goals and provided 8 assists, it's clear why we should pursue him again. Philippe Clement is determined to strengthen our squad to reclaim the Premiership title from Celtic, who have now won 3 in a row. With Kemar Roof's contract ending and Fabio Silva heading back to Wolves, we're looking thin up front, making Shankland's addition even more crucial. Hearts have valued Shankland at £5 million, which might seem steep given he only has a year left on his contract. But let's be honest, his goal-scoring prowess could be exactly what we need to challenge Celtic. Despite previous difficulties in signing him, this is the perfect moment to try again. Shankland's goal against Tottenham is a clear indication of his talent and ability to perform under pressure. Koppen should act quickly and decisively to bring Shankland to Ibrox, providing us with the firepower to compete for the title next season. Alright, that's the latest on Lawrence Shankland. If you enjoyed this update, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to keep up with all the Rangers news. Cheers, and see you next time.